Hello everyone, I'm Erandi from University of New England. Uh, Today I'm here to share our research findings on watermelon pollination ecology. The title of the presentation is Honeybees and Native Bees are Effective Pollinators of Watermelon in Australia. Uh, Animal pollination is a key ecosystem service, ensures 1/3 of global fruit production. Nearly 75% of the crops grown in the world depend at least some extent on pollinators to improve quality or the quantity of the production. Watermelon, which is botanically known as Citrullus lanatus, is one of the few crop species that insects are essential for the pollination and fruit production due to its monoecious flowering habits and large sticky pollen grains, which are not dispersed by the wind. Watermelon is the most popular and widely grown melon species in Australia, and nearly half of the Australians consume fresh watermelon. And also, it can be cultivated in many states and available throughout the year in different quantities. However, information available on watermelon pollination ecology is low in Australia, as most of the other watermelon growing countries in the world. Therefore, we conducted this study to identify insect taxa that visit watermelon flowers and to compare pollination effectiveness of dominant flower visitors of watermelon in Australia. For that, we selected 15 different farms from 5 major watermelon growing regions in Australia as Catherine in Northern Territory, Lakeland, Gamlu and Chinchilla in Queensland, and Riverina in New South Wales, as you can see in this map. To evaluate insect composition and visitation rates, we conducted times observation along 6 transects in each of selected farms, and then insects were netted and identified with the help of experts. Pollination effectiveness was measured based on single visit pollen deposition rates of dominant flower visitors in watermelon in selected farms. We observed 14 different genera represented in 5 orders, including bees, flies, wasps, butterflies, beetles, moths, and true bugs, visited watermelon flowers across 5 regions. And insect species composition varied among regions, and honeybees were the most influential species for the differences among regions. And also, honeybees were the most dominant taxa, and their relative abundance was higher than 70% in all the selected regions. Apart from honeybees, native bees and flies also were frequently found in all the regions compared to other insect taxa. Among wild bees, stingless bees were common and they were found in all the regions except Riverina. Other than the higher abundance of honeybees, they visited watermelon flowers more frequently than native bees and the flies. However, it is not surprising as all the selected farms were provided honeybee colonies for supplementary pollination. When we look at the pollinator effectiveness, we found that both honeybees and stingless bees deposited similar number of pollen grain on the watermelon stigma during a flower visit. However, flies visited low number of pollen grain on the stigma compared to other insect taxa. Finally, our study concluded that honeybees, native bees, and flies frequently visited watermelon flowers and deposited pollen grain on the stigma. Stingless bees deposited similar number of pollen grains on the stigma as honeybees. Therefore, watermelon farms would benefit from pollinator-friendly management practices to support both managed and wild pollinators to enhance pollination service and production of watermelon in Australia. Finally, we would like to acknowledge these people and funding sources for their contribution to this study. And thank you very much for listening.